Hey, I'm Jordan from The Almost Athlete, and I wanted to talk today about a recovery tool that I use often and one that I found to be very, very helpful. And it's this right here. It's advertised online as a neck massager, and the way they kind of show to use it is take it here, put it kind of on the back of your neck, and as you can see, I get a squeeze and I can kind of work on some of my tight upper trap, levator scapula muscles, some of these muscles on the neck and shoulder that can be commonly irritants and cause headaches and a bunch of different problems. It actually works really great for that. The cool thing is I use it for a lot more things in addition to this. And so one of the features of this that I really like is you can pull this little knob out and twist it, and then you can change the direction that it's oriented. And so if you have an area, so for example, I use this a lot on my hands. So if I have a sore area on my hand right here, that I can then change these knobs to face the direction that it squeezes nicely, and then I can get some good pressure in there and really work on a spot that for me, I have a lot of trouble with. Working in physical therapy and even just with weightlifting and things, constantly gripping, using my hands, my hand muscles often get sore from just overuse, and so this is one of my go-to tools to work on this. The other nice thing is the only pressure it takes from my other hand is just a little bit of a squeeze here. Without this tool, what I have done in the past is have to use my other hand and just kind of dig in there, whether with my knuckle or with my other fingers, which usually just kind of transfers the irritation to the other hand. So this is a really great use for it. The other thing I really like for it, and it's kind of in the same spirit, but different body part, is up on the forearm. This is another area that I find if you're doing a lot of gripping, weightlifting, working with your hands, construction, anything like that, this is very common to get sometimes lateral epicondylitis or medial epicondylitis, which they call tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. And even though they don't necessarily have anything to do with playing tennis or golf, they're often overuse injuries of gripping, rotating, just doing a lot of work with your hands, and so getting some soft tissue work in there, especially when it's something that you get to control yourself, I find to be really, really helpful. It can take some stress away of the muscles, and it can start to, almost break up the cycle of inflammation or overuse of the muscle, which is, oftentimes controlled by the neurological system, which is really patterning. So if we can break up that patterning and even something like this that just gets in there and breaks up that irritation, that can start to help the healing process and help the body to heal, more efficiently. And so as we're talking here, I'm working on my forearms here, and I noticed that it's a very, very helpful tool to get in there. Now, as far as techniques go, you can just, as you've kind of been seeing me do, I've just been kind of squeezing and working it around. I can also create pressure on an area that's irritated. So for me right there is a good spot. And then I can move my wrists around. I can rotate, supinate, pronate. I can get these different angles that it's gonna change where that pressure is really, really working on the muscle or even the connective tissue. And all these are great ways to approach this. I kind of tell my clients as well as my patients that think of this as search and destroy. We're trying to find uncomfortable spots, and we're trying to work on that with different angles, different amounts of pressure, different movements, and all of those are different ways you can approach it, and really there's not a right or wrong way. You kind of want to test it out and see what your body tolerates, see what your body responds to, and do more of that, again, this is one of my favorite tools. Now, to finish up here, I'm going to show you the last way, or one of the other ways that I like to use this, and it looks kind of ridiculous, so you're gonna have to bear with me here, but I find if you set the closest knobs kind of on the further side here, so then that there's the most space on the inside, and then I open this up nice and wide, and I'll kind of show you the side angle here, but I work on the jaw and some of the jaw muscles. And so I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, but our jaw muscles here, really the skull, the temporalis muscle that kind of comes around the broad side of the head, comes down and attaches down here at the jaw. And then the masseter, a smaller muscle in size, but very, very strong, that connects the jawbones here. Both of those muscles are acting when we chew our food, or when we clench down, when we hold a lot of stress. You know, a lot of people that clench their teeth at night or hold stress in other ways, it can manifest in both of those muscles being overworked and oftentimes irritated. So this is something that I find personally to be very, very helpful. So again, I kind of create space on here, and the curve of this tool already is squeezing. So I actually don't even have to do anything other than get it in the right spot. So once I get it in the right spot, I can kind of let that do its job, and you just gotta be careful that it doesn't do what it just did to me there and slide down and choke you on the neck, because that can be pretty uncomfortable. So I'm always have my hands here ready just in case it gets slid off and starts choking me, to remove it or adjust it. And then I'm just gonna find that uncomfortable spot. And then from here, even as I'm talking, I can kind of open and close my jaw, and that changes the pressure and changes exactly where it's working on. So again, another great tool, another great way to work and use this tool. I'll put a link below and to where to find this at. I'll double check, but I want to say I spent maybe $15 on this on Amazon, and it's been one of the best tools that I found for really all three of those body parts: the hand, the forearm, and the jaw, more so than almost anything else I've been able to find. So I really think for that cost, it's a steal of a deal, especially if you work in an industry where you're having to use your muscles a lot, or you find that you just tend to hold a lot of stress in your facial muscles. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to try to throw some more videos on here of some other tools that I use for recovery, maybe even some training tools. Let me know in comments below if you have any questions or anything else you want me to specifically review, and I hope this is helpful. All right, thank you.